Can you speak about Chinese officers or operators in America right now?
So what I can speak on that's allowed is the stuff that has been making headlines more and more. We know that the Chinese have secret police stations in the United States.
And Canada. It really was big deal in Canada.
Yeah, everything's a bigger deal in Canada.
Yeah.
Maple syrup's a bigger deal in Canada.
Yeah.
But and they do that because at the core of the Chinese experience, like we talked about the American experience, at the core of the Chinese experience, you are Chinese first.
That's ideology that we're talking about.
Right. So you have such a close tie to your family and you have such a close tie to the homeland that even if you are a Chinese immigrant, you're still fighting for your family and for the homeland, right? It's still your first loyalty. It doesn't mean it's your first loyalty by like 99-1. It could be 60-40, but it's still your first loyalty. And you are oftentimes responsible for caring for the older generation. So your revenue, your money is actually going back to China to take care of your parents until you can bring them to the United States. So,
which is quite common for immigrants, though.
It is.
Yeah, I don't think it's a specific idiosyncratic to China.
But I think he's juxtaposing it to the U.S. ideology, which is self-first, I would assume?
Correct. In the United States, mom and dad have a retirement fund, and they have Social Security, and they save their own 401k. And if they didn't, well, why the hell didn't you do that, mom and dad?
That's on you, yeah.
Like now you're draining on me. How does it feel that, you know, the grandkids are eating ramen because you can't pay your diabetes bill or whatever it is, right? Like that's a whole different mindset in the United States.
Yeah.
So stuff like secret police stations that are not sanctioned, the incredible amount of Chinese intelligence collection that happens here. In the last week before coming here, we had a military person, a U.S. military officer, or sorry, U.S. military enlisted person get arrested for Chinese espionage. We had Google, a technician at Google got arrested for Chinese espionage.
Wow.
Right? So the Chinese are actually actively recruiting from our tech sector and from our military. And that's just in the last 7 days. When you look at the prosecuted cases of Chinese espionage in the United States over the last 5 years, it's record-breaking. More intelligence espionage case arrests, just arrests, than ever before. Every time there's an arrest, our rule of thumb is for every one arrest, there's 9 more operations that haven't been caught yet.
Wow.
So it gives you an idea of how active the Chinese are against the United States. I don't want to paint the Chinese out to be a bad guy. They're just doing the same shit we do.
This is the game.
But we're the big dog. They're trying to become the big dog.
They're a little meaner dog, though.
They're a very different breed.
What is their offer for espionage? Is it just money?
So the offer for espionage, when we talk about the offer, we have to remember it goes back to those 4, right? Those 4 ideologies or those 4 motivations. Reward, we usually associate with money. But reward is not about money. It's about what you will do with the money, right?
Oh, yeah.
You guys don't work for money. You might think at surface level, of course I work for the money. No. You work for what you're going to do
with the money.
With the money.
Okay.
So what the Chinese have learned about our culture is that in our culture, we all brag about the money and we keep secret what we're going to do with the money. It's really there because I'm worried that my kids might not have enough money for college. It's really there because I'm worried about when I get older and I get sick. It's there because I'm worried about something or something else. So when they make a plea for us or when they make an offer to us for money, oftentimes it's because we're already in debt and we've made bad financial choices because our culture is a debt-driven culture. And we're also worried about money in the future because we're already in debt. So it makes it very easy for them to come in with a monetary salvation.
Wow.
And we're like, oh shit, yeah. I mean, my secrets are worth that much to you?
Yeah.
Because my own government doesn't think they're worth that much to them.
$200K in student loan debt. Even though I work at Google, I still have a lot of debt. I'm worried.
Yeah. And then you've got the whole, the ideology of the United States also includes cultural ideology that doesn't exist in Asia. Like, for example, sex is still a taboo topic in the United States. As open as it's become, it's still a very taboo topic, like the whole sexual deviancy thing I was just telling you guys about, right? We don't really like to talk about what our particular kink is with just anyone. We don't really like to talk about how often we have sex or don't have sex with our spouse or our girlfriend or whatever else. We don't like talking about whether or not we explored homosexuality in college. There's all sorts of stuff that we don't talk about that Europe talks about on the front page of the newspaper, that they'll go out and have drinks and like cheers each other and talk about.
China way more comfortable with it?
No, but
I
China,
find that hard to believe, yeah.
They're not more comfortable with it, but they know we are uncomfortable with it. So they know how to present us with what's known as, in colloquial terms, sexpionage. they can feed our sexual interests because they don't have individual freedom.
It is what I guess the CIA accused Trump of doing with Russia. Like, oh, you got peed on. You don't want anybody to know that. We got you to get peed on. Now we hold this power over you. China will do that to someone in the U.S.
That's the C in rice. That's coercion. Blackmail is coercion. The other option of that is you get a Chinese girlfriend, a discreet, quiet, beautiful girlfriend that goes where you need her to go, when you need her to go there, and she treats you like a king every time you arrive.
So every couple in Williamsburg is just spies.
I mean, it's not a far off accusation, right?
Yeah.
But you want to know why all those? I mean, there's a real problem with American academics traveling to Asia. And the reason that it's such a problem is because they land in Kuala Lumpur and they have their Chinese girlfriend waiting for them for 4 days that their spouse doesn't even know about. All taken care of by the academic institution that invited them there.
And those girls might not start as operatives. They might just be
Actual
some hookers or mistresses or whatever, and then they become an asset of an operative, right?
Yep.
This is so interesting. And then you're saying that we can't do it in America because we have individual freedoms. In other words,
can't force an American to prostitute their body.
Yeah. Now, if they do it, they do it. But we can't say this is what you should do.
Correct. And if they do it, so not only that, but in the United States, we've also gone for our actual trained agents, our trained field operators, we actively enforce that they don't take that step. Because when you take that step into any kind of romantic or physical anything, because of our ideology, in the United States, sex is very difficult to separate from connection.